What do most Fortune 500 executives have in common? After more than 100 episodes recorded with those very executives from companies like Disney, Amazon, Netflix, Cigna, and Google, the answer is clear. They learned lessons in leadership from the fields and courts of their high school and collegiate sports teams. Some of our guests' athletic experience earned them a place in their sports Hall of Fame, like Chick-fil-A Chairman Dan Cathy. Some hung up their cleats after high school, like Delta Airlines CEO Ed Bastian, while others, like Condoleezza Rice, claimed they were terrible in their sport. But no matter their skill level, they have all told me that being a part of a team taught them lessons they still use as leaders today. In partnership with Maxwell Leadership, I'm your host, Don Yeager, here to give you an all-access pass to genuine, authentic, fireside chat-like conversations with today's business icons so that you can create powerful, positive change in your own organization. This is Corporate Competitor Podcast. With me for today's episode is Joe Assell, President and CEO of GOLFTEC, the leading global provider of golf lessons and club fittings. In 1995, Joe shared a vision with co-founder Clayton Cole to help golfers improve by providing them with great coaching and state-of-the-art technology. Now, there are 250 locations providing more than 1 million golf lessons each year. Joe's guidance has taken the company from a single employee operation to where they now have more than 1,200 people today. He's been recognized as PGA Golf Executive of the Year, Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year for the Rocky Mountain region, and Golf Inc. named him one of the top 25 most powerful people in golf. Visit corporatecompetitorpodcast.com/141 to get your bonus resource downloaded so you can complete notes and reflection questions we put together for you.
The results were in the product. We just had this early success right out of the gate. People were coming in with their scorecards or with their trophies from the member guests. We actually gave a gold colored cap if you shot the best round of your life. Gold Cap Club. They started showing up at golf courses all around Denver. There were skeptics, but then when people took the leap of faith, they improved significantly and started beating all their friends. Then their friends started coming in and beat their friends.
Joe, thanks for joining us.
Don, my pleasure. Excited to spend some time with you here today.
I'm excited to have, as a true duffer, one who goes out and tears a golf course up every other Saturday, the guy who runs the company that gives more golf lessons than any other company in the world. First off, what kind of golfer are you?
Gosh, golf is such a great game, and it really brings such passion to people and excitement and these comeback moments, as you mentioned. And for me, they started early. I'm a PGA member, which requires a playing ability test.
Right.
My dad got me into golf when I was 6 or 7 years old. I'd go walk along with him, and then I started playing and started hitting some good shots. And then I was fortunate as a young kid, I won a couple tournaments, and that hooks you pretty much forever.
Yeah. I did a book a couple of years ago during the pandemic with Bubba Watson, going back to that little town in North Florida and watching him walk the course. You see how it just never leaves you once you get it early. There's also the moment that always humbles you.
Golf is hard as a player sometimes, and that's good for business. But I think the hardest is when you're in a tournament and you don't play well, and that score has to get posted, and your number is sitting there on the scoreboard. When I was a freshman at Mississippi State, I was in this program called Professional Golf Management. It's a program designed for future golf pros, and everyone who goes there is intending to be a head pro. You're a freshman, you're trying to impress everybody. And in one of the first tournaments on campus, I shot 92, and that number was up there on that board. Everybody just thought I was this bad golfer that's the new guy on campus. It took a while to outrun that one. It knocks you back for a while, and you just have to remember the great shots you've hit along the way to offset the bad days that you have.
Replace the number. That's the key. So you grew up outside of Chicago.
Right.
How did competition play a role in your childhood growing up?
Well, I played a lot of sports growing up, and I wasn't the biggest guy, so you had to try even harder and hustle even more. I got my bell rung in football a few times. You have to bounce back and be tough. That goes through all sports, which I was really fortunate that my parents got me into. And as I zeroed in on golf, I strove to just continue to get better and better. I practiced all the time. The harder competition wasn't as much the junior golf tournaments I played in, but it was all the money games I got pulled into with the guys older than me. I had a cousin and a best friend and a couple of other guys that were 3, 4, 5 years older than me. At that age, they were bigger, stronger, and better players. That was really where I felt more pressure and more competition. You really had to learn how to compete when there's $5 on the line with your buddies.
They saw you as a mark early.
I'll never forget early on in one of those matches, I made a reasonable sized putt coming in and took all their money. And that's part of those memories that gets you hooked on golf. I still see those guys all the time as well. So it's a great lifelong memory that we have of our early childhood matches.
You're right. It's the memories that make all of this so much fun. I love it. I had a conversation with Jack Nicklaus. I was working on a book project with he and his son, and he said something that really stuck out to me. He said, you can learn everything you need to know about a potential business partner by playing around a golf with them. Are they willing to shade things? Are they one of those that really follows the rules? Are they one that asks questions? You can learn a lot just playing around a golf.
It's not just what you learn about somebody, which is true. You do learn a lot. But for me, it's much more about the relationships that you forge and make. I'm fortunate to be in the golf industry, and most everybody plays golf. So we try to weave golf into our meetings and the deals we're working on. I have such a stronger bond with somebody I'm working on a deal with if I've had lunch, played golf, had a drink afterwards, and formed this true, deeper relationship than just an hour across the boardroom table for somebody where you really don't understand what they're about. It's as much about the relationships. The guys I played against as a kid, those are the same guys that worked at the golf course together with me. We were really proud of this public golf course we worked at. And together, we were the team that made that place successful. But that team bond really came because we played golf together and really understood each other well.
Yeah, that's great advice for all of us to make an effort to get to know someone outside of the strict confines of whatever our business relationship might be. Golf is obviously a very natural one for you. Works because you're in the industry. Any other advice like that for a listener about how to build a more personal relationship with people that you might be looking to do business with?
It's all about the person and getting to know them. Unfortunately, you can't always play golf. I like to ski with people as well. But if there's not a sport involved, you can find more common ground in a business deal or something you're working on. If it's not just this number on the other side, but a true person that you know.
Not just transactional.
Exactly. And that's really important for me to really know who I'm working with and really get to know somebody as a person, whether it's their family or where they're from or their aspirations or who they are. And sometimes it takes a little bit more time, but in the end, I think you make much better relationships and longer lasting trust between someone you're working with when you spend the time to really get to know them.
It does take more time. There's more of an investment in it, which sadly is why most people don't do it. That's such a great lesson. A big moment in your early life was your collegiate experience at Mississippi State. You wanted to work at the highest ranked private club that MSU could help you connect with. And that happened to be the legendary Cherry Hills just outside of Denver. But that course was only taking one intern from Mississippi State.
Sure. A lot of guys at Mississippi State wanted to go to Cherry Hills. It was very prestigious. I think it was like number 28 on the top 100 list at the time. I had a good relationship with the guy who had the previous year internship. So I asked him to really put in a good word for me. I stayed in close contact with him. He had just finished his internship working for the head professional and asked him to kind of lobby on my behalf. And then also the head professional in Tennessee, where I had interned the year before, knew the golf professional at Cherry Hills. And I asked him to put in a phone call for me. Somehow I was able to out navigate the other guys that were hoping to go to Cherry Hills and land the really coveted internship that frankly changed the rest of my life. It's not just people you know and who you know and getting to know them, but the quality of the relationship that you have with someone. Someone you don't know very well or is just an acquaintance may not be willing to make that recommendation for you or make that introduction. But I've always focused on quality relationships with people and trusting relationship. That opens a lot of doors. The relationship isn't going to get it done alone. You still have to be able to perform or deliver on your end. And it's kind of this intersection of everything coming together. But we're in a people business, and the golf industry is very people oriented, and knowing the right people is often the glue that makes things happen.
It's not just about the people you know, it's the quality of the relationship. Sometimes we're all focused on how important is the person that we know or how much weight might they carry. Well, it wouldn't matter if they carried great weight if they're not willing to throw all of it in on your behalf. Invest in the quality of the relationship, not the quality of the status of the person that you want to make a relationship with.
Exactly.
Love it. During that time, Cherry Hills was hosting the US Senior Open. The club's basement was essentially a storage room, and sifting through that basement full of boxes created for you the genesis of how GOLFTEC was formed.
You hear stories of businesses starting in a garage or other places. And for us, we literally did start in the basement.
Right.
This is 1994. Computers are just starting to come about in life. I was back at Mississippi State finishing my last semesters of school. Clayton Cole, who was the head professional, lost his lead teaching professional. And he was a really forward thinking guy. And his thought was, instead of replacing this teaching professional with another high profile teaching professional, what if I invest the money and buy this computer that measures the golf swing? And he needed a place to put it. You really couldn't use it outside. If it rained, it would ruin this computer. The only place was down in this basement. There was a place to put up a net. He put this computer there, and the members really started to like it and train some of his staff on how to use it and how to interpret the data. He said, hey, the members like this, but I want to see what happens if all of Denver tries it. Let's open this to the public. A member owned a strip mall not far away and had a vacancy, and he made a deal to put it in the strip mall. Now I was graduating from Mississippi State, and I started talking to Clayton about what I was going to do next in my career. And my passion was shifting more to business than golf at the time. Clayton said, well, if you move back to Denver, I need somebody to run this. You can be the businessman. You also have to be the golf pro and the teacher. It was not an immediate yes for me. And that's where I will admit I didn't quite see it at first. There was a lot of doubt as to whether anyone would show up and take a golf lesson indoors on a computer. And sure, the members liked it because it was convenient, but can we get Denver to come and try this? It took me a little while to discern it. And one of the best decisions in my life, maybe the best decision besides marrying my wife, was to move back to Denver and become really the first employee of this business. We opened in April of 1995. I gave golf lessons all day and cleaned the bathroom and paid the bills. And I was the head of tech support and the head of marketing. And I have 1,200 employees now, but I tell them, I've done all of your jobs, whether you're a coach or you're somewhere in our corporate office. When I was the only person, I had to do it. And so many great entrepreneurs, eventually they hit their peak or the company outgrows them, and you change CEOs along the way, often multiple times as you hit different revenue or employee count levels. I've been very fortunate to understand people and lead my team that keeps winning and keeps striving to get better. I've just been very fortunate to have the skills and the personality to adapt as we go.
Reading some of the early stories about the company, you had plenty of skeptics. Heck, you were skeptical,
Right.
especially like Denver, where the world loves being outside. Would they come inside to work on their golf game? All of us maybe have great ideas here and there, but we get talked out of them by the people telling us what a dumb idea it is. How did you overcome the skeptics?
That's a great question because I trusted it less when I was young. And the entrepreneurial journey is not easy. I guest lecture to MBA classes on leadership and entrepreneurship. And I show this chart of what you think your business might be. And it's this nice, happy, smooth journey. And then I show a chart of the reality of all the pitfalls and the challenges. You have to have the belief in yourself and the fortitude and the perseverance to get through the difficult parts, because they will happen. There's no way it's going to go as you think or smoothly. No one is going to know your business and your idea better than you. And while there may be advisors, I learned over the years, sometimes they were right, but sometimes they were wrong. And that led to some challenges. I listened to some others and took some advice that actually got us in trouble. And it was actually through some of the toughest times after listening to others that is when I learned to trust my own gut more. So you have to, at the end of the day, trust yourself, trust your gut. And you have to do that in the early days, especially when you maybe have a new idea that no one else has. If you're the curator of this idea, you have to believe in it and have the vision to go execute.
Right.
We really earned our way through it by making people better golfers. We're the largest employer of PGA teaching professionals in the world. We employ a little over 1,000 golf pros full time. We have the most extensive golf instructor training program in the world. It's called GOLFTEC University. It's 6 weeks. And it doesn't matter who you are or what your previous accolades are. It doesn't matter what your background is or your previous accolades or how great of a golf pro you are. You have to attend and pass GOLFTEC University. And that results in the most well-trained golf instructors in the world who are then paired with the most cutting edge technology in the world. And that combination results in people getting a lot better at golf. The results were in the product. There were skeptics, but then when people took the leap of faith to come in and buy some lessons, they improved significantly and started beating all their friends. Then their friends started coming in and beat their friends. Even today, when we spend millions of dollars on marketing, our number one source of new business is still referrals.
Boy.
The number one day of the week for traffic and volume at our call center and on our website is Monday, mostly because our customers beat their friends on the weekend and then they all call us. And that's because our coaches are doing a great job. We're in the services business and our coaches are the glue of everything we do. The proof is in the product and people truly get better at golf. We just earned our way through the skeptics on the golf lesson side. But then there were the business skeptics. So the banks didn't want to give us a loan. The first couple of years, we couldn't even sell golf clubs because no one would give us an account. All the major golf club companies thought we were just a big credit risk and this was a bad idea and we were going to fail. We had to then earn our way on the top and bottom line to prove to the business community that this is going to work. And those financial results were really driven by our happy customers. That was driven by, real results in the product and the golf lessons.
After all the millions of dollars in marketing that you're spending, the number one source of new customers is still referrals.
Every day they pour in.
Powerful. I read a quote from your wife, Carrie. If he were to win the lottery, he'd still be there at 6:30 in the morning. It's just in his blood. What is it about the business that drives you?
The reaction of our students and how much better they're getting and the smiles we're putting on people's faces is number one, but how much more we have to go. We have 250 locations, just scratching the surface on how big GOLFTEC can truly be. The future is so vast that I show up every day wanting to make sure we make it happen. And I deliver for my team. Besides our customers, my team is so important to me and making sure that we provide a great living for them and a great livelihood and challenge for them. I'm just driven by the people that I'm around, which is hundreds of thousands of customers and 1,200 teammates. And then this incredible opportunity in front of us as our business is also about to evolve quite a bit. We made our biggest change in our 28 years history. Just last year, we acquired a company called SkyTrack, the number one launch monitor and simulator company in the world, where you can play golf courses, play Pebble Beach, or you can practice in your home, in a business, anywhere. And there are other competitors out there, but SkyTrack is more for the everyday man. We see this as the opportunity to take GOLFTEC to everyone all over the world where you might not have to walk through our bricks and mortar front doors. From your house or your garage or your business, you can have GOLFTEC lessons and a GOLFTEC coach right there via the camera on your phone and then the SkyTrack device recording all of your shots. SkyTrack is part of our future, but we will continue to open brick and mortar. We're opening 20 new locations this year. We opened 25 last year. The best possible golf lesson in the world is in person with a coach. And SkyTrack is just the next growth vehicle to help us take GOLFTEC to everyone around the world. If you're not within 20 minutes of a GOLFTEC, or even if you are and you want to do it at night or every day of the week, we'll make sure we can enable that with SkyTrack. It's just continued growth through a more modern channel, but we'll never be able to replace a great in-person lesson.
Right.
We're now embarking on a world where we will be able to teach people literally everywhere and bring GolfTec to everyone based on adding SkyTrack into our business.
Imagine what you could have done during the pandemic with that. But you're right. I happen to live in Florida where we get the opportunity to play golf all year round. There's so many places where the opportunity to go play an amazing course in your garage, that's got to be pretty incredible.
Anywhere in the world where you may not have access, or even in Florida, imagine playing Pebble Beach in your garage at night, and the next morning you have an email from GolfTec that says, "Hey, Don, we saw you shot 85 last night, but if you turn your shoulders a little more, maybe switch to this driver, maybe work on this putting tip, you could shoot 75." And we deliver an entire suite of coaching to you wherever you are. It becomes a hybrid experience where you can walk through the front doors of a GolfTec, but you can participate in coaching and golf fitness and club fitting and challenges and games from wherever you are as well.
You can take money from your friends anywhere.
Absolutely. From your garage or your basement or anywhere else.
So I want to talk about teams. A lot of people refer to their corporate organizations as teams. And the truth is that many times they're not. They're often intercompetitive. The only thing they have in common is that they have the same business card. You know what it means to be part of a team. You're building one there at GolfTec. Give me one or two ways that I could take a group of people and turn them into a team from your experience.
It starts with communication. We have 4 core values. It spells fit, fun, integrity, improvement, and team. We want to make sure that GolfTec is the right fit for people to be on our team, and they're the right fit for us to fit with our culture. So it's right there in our 4 main core values, but they have to understand the vision. And that's my job. We have to communicate the vision, what we're working on, both near term and long term, and then make sure we enable the training they need or the tools they need or the mentorship they need or the coworkers they need to play their role. If we give them what they need and we communicate the goals and the plan, then they can execute and they can do their job. We spend a lot of time leading our team and making sure everybody knows where we're going. We actually have an entire TV studio built here in our corporate office that's partly used for social media and YouTube. We had hundreds of millions of views last year, but we also use this TV production studio for our internal communication, filming videos and messages from me and other leaders to the entire company in a much more dynamic fashion than just a boring email, and motivating the team and making sure they understand their job and they're supported to do it has really been the key. And we've been growing a lot, and sometimes growth is hard. It's not the same old day every day. There are new challenges, and communication is just the most important part of it.
We had the CEO of Delta on, Ed Bastian, a number of episodes ago. One of the things he talked about was the importance in leadership of over communicating, of finding creative ways to over communicate, because there are all the standard, easy, old ways to stay in touch with our team. But the truth is that if you do it even more than might be sometimes natural and do it in good and creative ways, they feel more of an intimacy, and that intimacy builds trust.
I agree. And then there's the entire culture factor that is important as well. And that to me is the final glue that really brings the team together. And I've been very fortunate. I created 2 new positions this year, but other than that, my entire senior executive team, shortest tenure is 12 years. My rookies are 12 years. I have guys that have hit 20 years. We really have gelled as a team. And then that culture, I know they are doing their job and pushing it down throughout the rest of the organization.
I love it.
It's been a heck of a journey. I'm incredibly fortunate to be where I am and to have stayed where I am. Often you have to replace yourself or other CEOs, but it's really the team that I've been fortunate to build around me every day that allows us to continue to navigate through the world and the challenges ahead.
Have you ever considered that idea?
Maybe in a little bit different way. It's always in the back of your mind, if and when that day comes, then who can step into my shoes and how would we handle that and what would a transition look like? It's probably a solid 10 years away for me at the moment. So I'm still mostly focused on today's initiatives and next couple of years and where we're going, full speed ahead and all focus there at the moment.
You're not on the back nine yet.
Not at all. Maybe making the turn, but definitely not the back nine.
So your company's mission statement is to help people play better golf. I mean, you took a tough game like golf, you built a tough entrepreneurial path around it. And what helped early was just people being successful. When they worked with your team, they got better, then they told their buddies, here's how I got better. And that led to new customers.
We just had this early success right out of the gate when I was the only coach. Within a month or two, people were coming in with their scorecards or with their trophies from the member guests that they won or their career round. There was a time when we actually gave a gold colored cap if you shot the best round of your life. Gold Cap Club. They started showing up at golf courses all around Denver. Now it happens every day. We'll give about 4,000 lessons just today. And many of those people will walk in with an ear to ear smile, telling their coach about the best round of their life last weekend or the tournament they just won and this great success story. It's really, truly been amazing to see the changes we can make in people's golf games.
That's awesome.
We've seen this at the highest level, our students go flourish. Rose Zhang, who's currently the #1 women's amateur in the world, won the U.S. Women's Amateur, came to us throughout her childhood and into high school. She's now plays for Stanford, and it's really fun to watch some of our marquee students around the world as they go on to just great success.
I love it. So even with your incredible growth, you say you strive to maintain this one-on-one relationship with customers and you never lose that human touch. You're really still working with that, which got to be hard. I mean, now you've got 250 locations, 1,200 employees. How do you scale things and not lose that personal relationship?
Well, we're in the service business. So people come to us because of their coach. You probably go to a restaurant you like because of the food or a store you like because of the clothes that they have, but maybe not the person. But for us, when we enable a coach with great technology, it becomes the coach that's the glue to that student. Most important thing we hire for is personalities. Your golf coaching resume is important, but less important because we'll teach you how to teach. So we're looking for great people and personalities that we believe fit on our team and will connect with their students. It's the #1 thing when we're working through our applicant pool. And at any one time, our coaches only have about 100 students that they're working with, and it enables them to get to know them, care about them. When a group of new coaches come in for GOLFTEC University, I personally try to have lunch with every GOLFTEC University class to start the culture right from the top, that the 30-minute session you have one-on-one with your student is the most important thing in all of GOLFTEC. It's not our technology, it's not our marketing, it's not our scale, it's not other things, but you as the coach in the 30 minutes one-on-one, that is all that matters. And it's culture from the top into every coach, making sure that they realize how important their student is and that relationship with their student. And it is harder as we scale, as you mentioned, but we do everything we can to enable the coaches and motivate the coaches to focus on people and on their relationships.
I love what you're doing, especially your growth right now and these new technologies that you're looking to bring in. How can our listeners best connect with you and with GOLFTEC?
Well, hopefully we're within 20 minutes of nearly everyone. We're in 100 cities, 6 countries. To find a location near you, golftec.com or skytrackgolf.com to find a way to put a SkyTrack in your home or business where you can play 24/7.
You may be getting a click on that website from me one of these days here soon. Joe, thank you so much today for being a corporate competitor with us.
You bet, Don. Really enjoyed our conversation. Thanks so much for having me today. It was great.
I'm excited to share my 3 favorite takeaways with you. But first, if these lessons resonate with you, connect with me and my team at maxwellleadership.com/Don. And together, let's next level your company culture. So my first great takeaway from Joe's conversation was the idea that when he was seeking that internship at Cherry Hills, that he didn't just have relationships, people that might be willing to give him a thumbs up with his application, but it wasn't just the relationship, it was the depth, the quality of the relationship. And he said that that was a real gift to him, the quality of the relationship he had worked to build with the people he asked for help. So don't just have great relationships, don't have cards or contacts in your phone, make sure they're contacts that you stay in touch with and you build a relationship with. Second, I love that idea. He has 1,000 coaches, and those 1,000 coaches each coach 100 people. 100,000 people today are being coached by a GOLFTEC coach. And when they are in the selection of new coaches, they look at your resume. It's obviously important that you know what you're doing, but they hire for personality. It is so important to them for their coaches to be able to build that relationship that all the golf skill in the world will not compensate if you cannot build personal relationships. Again, there's that word, and they hire for personalities. And finally, I thought it was impactful that the number one source for all the money they spend on marketing, the number one source today of new clients is business referrals. That it doesn't matter what you do, you try to develop marketing strategies. If A, your product isn't doing really well, and secondly, you are not staying in touch and actually creating raving fans, when those things happen, business referrals come your way. And when they do, you can continue to grow like today's corporate competitor. If you could share one habit, one thing you've done consistently that allowed you to separate yourself from your competitors, what would it be? In my 30-year career, 2,500 of the greatest athletes, coaches, and leaders answered that question for me.
This is Don Yeager, who did that that article I was telling you about.
Don, Dave Sims with Coach K. How you doing?
Hey, Don. How you doing, my man? Great, sir.
What they gave to me is what I'm giving to you in my online course, Journey to Greatness. Through engaging storytelling and on-demand videos, you will learn the 16 habits that will jumpstart your personal growth. I will instruct you on how to apply these winning characteristics to your life through custom workbook exercises. We are slashing the price for our podcast listeners. Lifetime access to Journey to Greatness is normally $399, but for our podcast listeners, it will be $49 with the code podcast at checkout. Click the banner on corporatecompetitorpodcast.com to enroll. Thanks for listening to the show. I would be so grateful if you left us a rating and a review. We will be rolling out a new episode every Wednesday. To be the first to listen, subscribe to the podcast on our website, corporatecompetitorpodcast.com. Plus, as a thank you gift, you will receive a free chapter from one of my best-selling books on the habits of high-performing teams. Stay in touch by connecting with me on social media at Don Yeager, Yaeger, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Until next week, I appreciate you.